Saying on my phone, I don't know, some of you know this on the iPhone, they've got that little stock app. I added Tesla to it to give me a little boost during the day. 225 and dropping. So, and if you own one, we're not blaming you. You can take dental floss and pull the Tesla thing off, and take out, just telling you. Saying on my phone.
Oh, Timmy. We got to talk about Tim Walz because we got some breaking news today. Some breaking news. Yeah, the Tim Walz, who was supposed to be the next vice president, I'm sure the Democrat establishment fully expected it. The same guy who literally changed the state flag to resemble the flag of a completely different country. And that country is quite interesting considering what we're actually uncovering right now. And if you guys don't remember that clip, here it is. I want to throw it up on the screen for y'all.
Whoa, wait a minute. There, that's better.
Really? That flag is better than this one? Okay. That's quite interesting. Quite interesting, especially when you consider, what it resembles. Just saying. I'm just saying. All right, listen, I'm just making observations, all right? Just making some observations. But if you guys have not heard, old Timmy Walz has ended his re-election campaign. And yes, I know most of you probably don't want to hear his speech, but of course I have to play his speech because what he says I think is absolutely hilarious. So I'm going to be playing his speech, his resignation speech. And of course, he makes up a bunch of crap, but to me, just take a listen to what he says. And to me, it's quite telling that he realizes the writing could be on the wall. Because if you truly weren't involved in anything and you really were combating it, fighting against it, why resign? I believe this would have been his third term as governor, so it's not like people haven't elected you before. You've talked about this fraud or people being arrested for this fraud before, so why resign now? Here, let's dive into it. Check it out.
Funds that were meant to help families afford child care. And they have no intention of stopping there. Make no mistake, we should be concerned about fraud in our state government. We cannot effectively deliver programs and services if we can't earn the public's trust. That's why over the past few years, we've made systemic changes in the way we do business. We've gone to the legislature time and time again to get more tools to combat fraud. We've fired people who weren't doing their jobs. We've seen people go to jail for stealing from our state. We've cut off whole streams of funding in partnership with the federal government where we saw widespread criminal activity. We've put new locks on the doors of our remaining programs, and we've hired a new head of program integrity to make sure that those locks can't be broken. All across this state, Minnesotans are hard at work on this problem. Advocates, administrators, investigators are on the front lines defending the integrity of our state's programs. And I want to give a very heartfelt thank you to all of them. There is more to do. A single taxpayer dollar wasted on fraud should be intolerable. And while there's a role to play for everyone, from the legislature to prosecutors to insurance companies to local and county government, the buck does stop with me. My administration has been taking fast, decisive action to solve this crisis. We'll win the fight against the fraudsters. But the political gamesmanship we're seeing from Republicans is only making that fight harder. We've got Republicans here in the state legislature playing hide and seek with potential whistleblowers. We've got conspiracy theorist right-wing YouTubers breaking into our daycares, demanding access to our children.
Nick Shirley.
We've got the President of the United States demonizing our Somali neighbors and wrongfully confiscating funds that Minnesotans rely on. It's disgusting and it's dangerous. Republicans are playing politics with the future of this state. It's shameful. And I've said it before, and I will continue to say it. We welcome ideas from anyone, in any party, from any walk of life, who wants to help us continue to stay ahead of these criminals. And we welcome the involvement of the federal government. I am grateful to the career professionals at the U.S. Attorney's Office and the FBI who have been helping us fight this fight for years. But I cannot abide the actions of the political leadership in Washington. These opportunists are willing to hurt our people to score cheap points. They and their allies have no intention of helping us solve this problem, and every intention of trying to profit off of it. Which brings me to this. 2026 is an election year. Election years have a way of ramping up the politics at a time when we simply can't afford more of that in Minnesota. In September, I announced that I would seek a historic third term as Minnesota's governor, and I have every confidence that if I gave it my all, we would win the race. But as I reflect on this moment with my family and my team over the holidays, I came to the conclusion that I can't give a political campaign my all. Every minute that I spend defending my own political interest would be a minute I can't spend defending the people of Minnesota against the criminals who prey on our generosity and the cynics who want to prey on our differences. So I've decided to step out of this race, and I'll let others worry about the election while I focus on the work that's in front of me for the next year. I'm passing on this race with zero sadness and zero regret. I did not run for this job to have the job. I ran for the job to do the job. Minnesota faces enormous challenges this year, and I refuse to spend a single minute doing anything other than rising to meet this moment. Minnesota has always come first and always will. That's what I believe servant leadership demands of me. As an optimist, I'll hold out some hope that my friends...
Oh, man. So you heard it there. I'm gonna spare y'all any more of that. That was enough, right? That was plenty. Plenty of speech. And I just find it interesting that people who step down, they always give kind of this, some of the similar, oh, well, you know, I sat down with my family and, you know, I came to the conclusion that I should... No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You saw the writing was on the wall. The walls were closing in. Yes, pun intended. The walls were closing in, and you realized that you were about to lose re-election, okay? And you possibly may face an indictment. And so you are exiting stage left ahead of time. It's simple. It's simple. Allegedly, of course. Allegedly. I gotta say allegedly. But I find it funny how, you know, it's always, oh, the right-wing YouTuber, which he was talking about Nick Shirley. Right wing. Or the MAGA. I love how they tried to like demonize those terms. Right wing or MAGA. Bro, it's quite simple. If a journalist, independent journalist like Nick Shirley can blow up a story like that, one, it shows how terrible mainstream media is and how useless and pathetic they genuinely are. But also, it shows that your state wasn't doing its job. And I might even go as far as saying that you are in cahoots with them. Because from a logical perspective, I don't think a group of individuals can come from another country, come here, commit the alleged fraud that they have been committing, and some folks have already been arrested. But then to continue, allegedly, of course, all of this is alleged. I got to say alleged. But then to continue that type of fraud after you've watched other people be arrested as well, you have to have some inside folks that are helping you out. And I talked about the young lady whose parents own a daycare, and she talks about how people from the state just randomly stop by to make sure things are on the up and up. Where was all the checks on some of these daycares here? Either they weren't happening at all, which is the problem, or they were happening and the people just said, you know what, hey, Just give us a little cut every time we stop by, and we good. We going. I'm just saying. That's just my take on it. But as always, you guys get in the comments. Let me know your take. Like I said, Tim Walz has officially dropped out. I believe Mike Lindell is actually running or going to try to run as governor of Minnesota, as a Republican, the My Pillow guy. If you guys don't know who Mike Lindell is, it's the My Pillow guy. And we'll see what other Democrat steps up to the plate. We shall see. We shall see. But old Timmy Walz, he's done. The guy who was supposed to be second in command, the vice president, is now finished, and he's blaming a right-wing YouTuber and Republicans scoring political points. But this is the same guy who basically wished death upon Trump. Yeah. Now he's crying and complaining. All right. Typical Democrat nonsense. Typical Democrat BS. Throw rocks, hide their hands. Talking about the failure of Elon Musk company. Hey, I'll keep the stock. Just give me a little boost. Well, I got to step down because, Republicans, they're scoring cheap political points. Everything turns to politics with those guys. Stop it. Stop it. I get so tired of Democrats trying to play the victim. I get so sick of these folks. But anyway, thanks for tuning in as always. Greatly appreciate all of the continued love and support. Stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.